Part 50. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 495. Whoosh. Chen Ronghuo turned into a stream of light and returned to Aurora King Island. When the powerful men near Aurora King Island saw him coming back, their eyes were extremely complicated. Especially Aurora King and others, they immediately thought of Chen Ronghuo hiding his strength again and again more than 100 years ago. They all clearly remembered that the name Chen Ronghuo first appeared in their sights because Chen Ronghuo showed his late 9th level cultivation and killed the White Tiger Duke. Then Chen Ronghuo appeared in their sight again, but his cultivation had reached the peak of the 9th level. And that time, Chen Ronghuo not only subdued the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor, but also went on to kill the two 9th Order peak high-level divine envoys of the Temple of Killing. Then came the third time. That time, Chen Ronghuo even sneaked into the Sky Ape King Island, showed his strength as a demigod, fought with the Sky Ape King, and then forcibly took away Ho-san, who was under the Sky Ape King. After that time, they all thought that this was Chen Ronghuo's limit. After all, if Chen Ronghuo had stronger strength, why would he need to be so sneaky? But until today, they didn't know that Chen Ronghuo had been hiding his strength from beginning to end. Otherwise, if Chen Ronghuo didn't hide his strength at the beginning, how could he have risen from the semi-god level to the current level where he can block the peak gods in just over 100 years? Abnormal. Hidden strength madman. A group of people cursed in their hearts and felt extremely speechless. Chen Ronghuo's behavior was so disgusting to him. You said you are so powerful, you said you are obviously a big boss, why are you pretending to be a newbie to tease us? Thinking of the scene when they and others wanted to take revenge on Chen Ronghuo and plotted against Chen Ronghuo, a group of people felt faintly afraid. Damn it! Chen Ronghuo naturally didn't know the complex thoughts of a group of people. After returning to Aurora King Island, he glanced at everyone in the room. After seeing everyone lower their heads, he finally set his sights on the ancient Yin Shui corpse at the edge. Ancient Yin Water Corpse, Level 10. The 10th spirit was born in ancient times and transformed into the body of a demon. Secret skills, Corpse God Technique, Yin Shui God Technique. Resurrection Stone can be used, 0. Status, the original power is greatly lost. After identifying the attributes of the ancient Yin Shui corpse, Chen Ronghuo vaguely felt a familiar aura from the ancient Yin Shui corpse. After making some deductions using ancient books, Chen Ronghuo realized that he had actually had indirect contact with this ancient Yin water corpse. He still remembered that after arriving in the world of gods, the first monster he encountered besides the fat cat was a knocker. The knocking ghost was controlled by a strange thing called a dead insect, and the dead insect belonged to this ancient Yin water corpse. Thinking about it at this time, Chen Ronghuo suddenly felt a little scared. If this ancient Yin water corpse could break out of the seal back then, he would probably not be where he is today. Gilug. Being stared at by Chen Ronghuo like this, ancient Yin Shui Ji felt his throat was a little dry. If it knew that it would encounter a powerful person like Chen Ronghuo as soon as it broke the seal, it would never dare to be so arrogant and cause such a massacre on Aurora King Island. When Chen Ronghuo fought with the Lord of the Killing Temple before, it did not take the opportunity to escape. Because when facing Chen Ronghuo, it has a strong sense of spirituality, that is, once it escapes, Chen Ronghuo will definitely keep his word and chase it back to the end of the world. It didn't dare to take risks when there was no chance of resurrection. Of course, Huang Taizhong watched from the sidelines and played a big role. At this time, Chen Ronghuo finally looked away from the ancient Yin Shui corpse. Then he suddenly raised his left hand and issued a suction force, sucking in the corpses of the 4 temple-slaying warriors he had killed from a distance. His left hand grew larger, landed on the 4 corpses, and began to extract attributes from them. The corpse of a 10th level powerhouse like this is also a rare treasure. It would be a waste if you just throw it away after killing it. While Chen Ronghuo was torturing the corpses of the four people and extracting attributes from them, he glanced over the ancient Yin Shui corpse and looked at the others. Seeing Chen Ronghuo's movements and being swept by Chen Ronghuo's eyes, everyone suddenly felt numb. After a moment of silence, Chen Ronghuo said, "I want to unify Bihai and fight against the temple together with you. What do you think?" Everyone looked at each other and smiled bitterly. They all wanted to refuse, but who dared to face Chen Ronghuo, who could even retreat from the killing temple master? No one is stupid. At this time, no one dares to be the one who stands out. After Chen Ronghuo showed his overwhelming strength, it became a matter of course for him to unify Bihai and win the support of the Lord of the Nine King Islands in Bihai. After he proposed becoming the Lord of the North Sea, everyone expressed support. Of course, supporting this kind of thing is never just a matter of words. So after a group of people agreed, Chen Ronghuo directly divided out 10 soul-suppressing seals and penetrated them into the soul sea of the Aurora King and 9 other people, as well as the ancient Yin Shui corpse. After becoming the Lord of the North Sea, he naturally wanted to establish his own base camp. Chen Ronghuo made a move and directly selected Aurora King Island as his base camp. "Come, let me feed you something to eat." After finishing the chores, Chen Ronghuo called the ancient Yin Shui corpse to him. The ancient Yin water corpse, which was originally so huge that it would be hundreds of meters tall even if it didn't transform, has now become the size of a normal human being. At this time, it was wearing clothes made of fine fabrics. It grabbed the corners of the clothes and walked carefully to Chen Ronghuo, trying its best to suppress the rotten smell on its body, like a little daughter-in-law who was bullied. When Chen Ronghuo saw the appearance of the ancient Yin water corpse, he shook his head and smiled. He felt that this guy was a bit similar to his pet devil mermaid. The devil mermaid had the same expression when he was subdued by him. But it is a pity that although Chen Ronghuo still has 2 contract slots to use, he is no longer in the mood to cultivate contracted spiritual pets. With his current strength, if he wants a spiritual pet, he might as well wait until he becomes stronger and then directly capture those mature ancient demons. As for this ancient Yin water corpse, although it is also an ancient demon, its potential is limited after all, and it is not worth spending too much time cultivating. I'm a good person, so after you follow me, you have to change your ways, you know. Chen Ronghuo issued himself a good person card, then placed his left hand on the head of the ancient Yin Shui corpse, and began to use the original power that he had previously extracted from the corpses of the 4 10th level elders from the Temple of Slaughter. Attributes are integrated into the body of the ancient Yin Shui corpse. If you don't replenish this guy's original power, he may lose all his original power and die. This is. The ancient Yin Shui corpse felt that as Chen Ronghuo's hand pressed on him, his nearly exhausted original power suddenly emerged as if a spring had been dug out, and a new source of power emerged. Its grey-white eyes immediately revealed a look of shock. It's a pity. It would be great if Cao Cao and others could finish their enlightenment earlier. Seeing the expression of the ancient Yin Shui corpse, Chen Ronghuo shook his head secretly. He currently has too few available men, otherwise he wouldn't be able to tinker with this ancient Yin water corpse in such detail. And my cultivation. This time he killed the 4 elders of the Great Slaughter Temple on the Aurora King Island, and then subdued the Aurora King, the ancient Yin water corpse, and 8 demigod-level powerhouses, which was regarded as harvesting a large wave of laws of calamity. Interest. Plus becoming the Lord of the North Sea. Chen Ronghuo took a deep breath, wondering if he could break through to the 12th level this time. If he can break through, he will be more confident when he meets the Lord of the Killing Temple in the future. Even as he said before, he will face the 2 former half-step pillar gods, the Lord of the Killing Temple and Jado Snake Mother, at the same time. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 496. Chen Ronghuo, wearing a black and red robe, stood on the edge of an ordinary island, quietly watching the red sun shining through the eastern sea, with a complicated expression. As the end of the 300 years was getting closer and closer, he became more and more nervous. Perhaps this is the feeling of being homesick. Sighed. Then Chen Ronghuo rubbed his hands again. He had been in seclusion for too long before and didn't feel anything. Now that he came out of seclusion, he felt that he was a little uncomfortable without Fat Cat. However, he shook his head, but in his heart he hoped that Fat Cat and Big River Crab could come out later. Because the later they came out, the more benefits they would get. Lord, the power of faith from all the islands has been collected. Suddenly, Huang Tai's Hung flew over from a distance, holding a narrow-necked bottle with beautiful patterns in his hand. This bottle was specially refined by Chen Ronghuo to hold the power of faith. Generally speaking, only lords with noble marks can collect the power of faith, but for Chen Ronghuo, who has reached the 11th level and has almost maxed out all his secondary occupations, it is not difficult to do this. Oh! Chen Ronghuo showed a hint of joy on his face. Before this, he had already refined all the breadth of the law of calamity that he had obtained from becoming the Lord of the North Sea and killing 4 10th level elders of the Slaughter Temple. After reaching the 10th level, there is no longer a level division such as the middle, and peak. However, after refining so much breadth of the law of calamity, Chen Ronghuo still could not break through from the 11th level to the 12th level. The general 12th level cultivators can be comparable to high-level gods in strength. Even among the gods, high-level gods are upper-level figures. All added up, it is estimated that there are only a few hundred. And there are estimated to be thousands of middle-level gods comparable to 11th level cultivators. Coupled with the pressure from the Black Demon Palace, Chen Ronghuo is extremely eager to reach the 12th level as soon as possible. So after failing to break through his cultivation, Chen Ronghuo set his sights on the power of faith. The North Sea is not small. If all the power of faith in the North Sea can be collected, it must be not a small number. As for whether those lords are willing or not, Chen Ronghuo will not care. If the North Sea is invaded by the Temple of Slaughter, most of the lives in the North Sea will probably be slaughtered. Now that he is guarding the North Sea, isn't it right for those people to contribute some power of faith to him? Taking the narrow-necked bottle of faith power from Huang Tai's Hung, Chen Ronghuo felt it and immediately showed a satisfied look on his face. He immediately said, "Mr. Huang, come back to the crab world with me. Let King Aurora and the others take care of the North Sea. We don't need to worry too much." Although he became the Lord of the North Sea, Chen Ronghuo naturally would not put all his thoughts on the North Sea. All those miscellaneous matters were left to King Aurora and others. His main purpose now is to improve his own strength. The same was true for his purpose of subduing King Aurora and others. Huang Tai's Hung nodded. Although he wanted to help Chen Ronghuo, he knew that although his strength was not bad, if he met a real strong man, he might become a burden to Chen Ronghuo, so he could only return to the crab world with Chen Ronghuo. Swoosh! Just when Chen Ronghuo returned to the crab world for retreat, a cultivator in a plain white shirt suddenly flew from the horizon and landed in front of King Aurora Island. Who is coming? The cultivator was very fast, so as soon as he arrived at King Aurora Island, he attracted the attention of the guards of King Aurora Island. However, before the man could answer, the ancient Yinshui corpse wearing clothes made of exquisite fabrics felt the breath of the person coming, and his heart was shocked, and he stood up from Aurora Island. He knew the person coming, and knew that the person's name was Gong Yangtian, an extremely powerful ancient strong man. Compared to him who gained a certain reputation by refining a resurrection stone, Gong Yangtian's reputation was earned through real battle records. It is said that Gong Yangtian even escaped from a half-step pillar god several times. Taking a deep breath, the ancient Yinshui corpse said, "Lord Gong Yang, my lord is not on the island now. I wonder if there is anything I can do for you." "Not on the island?" Gong Yangtian frowned secretly. The ancient Yinshui corpse knew him, but he did not know the ancient Yinshui corpse. Of course, he may have heard some things about the ancient Yinshui corpse thousands of years ago, but those unimportant things, for him who has some mental cleanliness, are probably deleted from his memory long ago. But no matter what, the ancient Yinshui corpse is also a 10th level cultivator, and coupled with the battle between Chen Ronghuo and the Lord of the Slaughter God Temple that he sensed a few days ago, so he did not act high and mighty. He pondered for a moment and said straight to the point, the Lord of the Black Demon broke the seal and came out. Senior Ten-Horned Dragon, the King of the Five Elements, the Saint Lord of Teishu, and the Lord of the Heavenly Demon, 4 seniors, formed an alliance with me, Black Scale, Nine-Headed Lion and more than a dozen others to fight against the Lord of the Black Demon Palace. I came here to invite your Lord to join our alliance. Senior Ten-Horned Dragon, the King of the Five Elements, the Saint Lord of Teishu, the Lord of the Heavenly Demon. Hearing this, the ancient Yinshui corpse immediately showed a look of horror in his eyes. The names mentioned by Gong Yangtian are all 14-level strongmen, and they are all existences that can compete head-on with the half-step pillar god. It was the Black Scales and the Nine-Headed Lion mentioned later, who were also 13th level practitioners like Gong Yangtian. He took a deep breath. He didn't expect that his lord had already caught the attention of such a person. But when he thought that Chen Ronghuo had been able to force the Lord of the Slaughter God Temple to retreat before, he didn't find it strange. The Lord of the Slaughter God Temple, whose cultivation level has recovered to the peak level of the gods, is estimated to be equivalent to the 13th level practitioners such as Gong Yangtian in terms of strength. Chen Ronghuo was able to force the Lord of the Slaughter God Temple to retreat, which naturally indirectly proved that Chen Ronghuo also had the same strength as Gong Yangtian and others. My lord is not on the island now, but I can inform my lord that if Senior Gong Yang doesn't mind, he can come to the island first and wait. Of course, if Senior Gong Yang doesn't have time, I can also help to convey it when my lord comes back. Thinking of this, the ancient Yinshui corpse said politely and neither servile nor arrogant. Gong Yangtian. In the crab world, Chen Ronghuo slowly opened his eyes after receiving the message from the ancient Yinshui corpse through the soul calming seal. After refining all the power of faith plundered from the entire North Sea, he finally broke through to the 12th level. Chen Ronghuo estimated that at this time, if he faced the Lord of the Slaughter God Temple again, even if he did not use the talisman array technique, he would be able to fight the Lord of the Slaughter God Temple on equal terms, or even suppress her to the disadvantage. As a half-step pillar god level strongman, the Lord of the Slaughter God Temple is naturally very strong. But Chen Ronghuo is even stronger. He is even stronger than the Lord of the Slaughter God Temple. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 497. Whoosh. Chen Ronghuo turned into a phantom, flew from the distant horizon, and returned to Aurora King Island. When Chen Ronghuo returned to Aurora King Island, a cultivator in Aurora King Island who was wearing a simple white shirt and sitting in a pavilion drinking tea raised his head and then slowly stood up. At this moment, Chen Ronghuo also dodged and landed in front of the pavilion. Gong Yangtian arched his hand, showing how much he valued Chen Ronghuo. My lord, Gong Yangtian, came uninvited. I hope Lord Chen won't take offense. Gong Yangtian, 13th level cultivator. Control the laws of space. Secret skills, sky destroying divine technique, sky breaking technique, world condensing technique. Secret treasure, 13th level secret treasure ram cone, refined with its 2 horns, it can break through most formations and space restrictions, and has strong offensiveness, and can also greatly increase its own speed. Refined special secret treasure, resurrection stone, available 3 times. Quietly, Chen Ronghuo identified all the attributes of Gongyang Tian. 13th level cultivator? Chen Ronghuo felt solemn in his heart and did not dare to look down upon him at all. A normal 13th level cultivator can compete with the peak gods in terms of strength, which means that the current master of the killing temple is as strong as Gongyang Tian. Coupled with Gongyang Tian's special secret treasure, Gongyang Tian, and the various space secret techniques he has practiced, I am afraid that even if the master of the Temple of Killing returns to his original half-step pillar god level cultivation, he may not be able to defeat Gongyang Tian. And this point, in fact, when the ancient Yin Shui corpse passed the news to Chen Ronghuo before, he said that the legendary Gongyang Tian had escaped from several half-step pillar god level powerhouses and ascended to heaven, which seemed to illustrate this point. At the same time, another point is that Gongyang Tian actually refined a rare treasure like the Resurrection Stone, and he was able to be resurrected 3 times. Thinking of this, Chen Ronghuo immediately put a smile on his face. Haha, what did Brother Gongyang say? My small temple will be prosperous only if Brother Gongyang comes. Gongyang Tian's heart moved, and he felt that Chen Ronghuo's words were not entirely polite, and a smile appeared on his face. Then he didn't beat around the bush and went straight to the point. Brother Chen fought with the Lord of the Killing Temple before, and some of my friends and I felt the movement. To be honest, we didn't expect that other than us, there were actually people who could fight with the Lord of the Killing Temple. The main battle. So I came here this time to invite Brother Chen to join our alliance and fight against the Lord of Darkness together. I wonder what Leader Chen wants to do? Before Gongyang Tian came here, he had already found out some information about Chen Ronghuo. He also did not believe that Chen Ronghuo could achieve such strength in a short period of time. Therefore, just like the original master of the Temple of Killing, he subconsciously regarded Chen Ronghuo as an ancient powerhouse like him. It's just that Chen Ronghuo is obviously too low-key. Low-key, even he, the 10-horned divine dragon, the Lord of Demons and others knew nothing about Chen Ronghuo. Fighting against the Lord of the Dark Demon. Chen Ronghuo pondered for a moment, and at the same time he seemed to have guessed what Gongyang Tian was thinking, and followed suit. I like a peaceful life, but the Lord of the Dark Demon wants to destroy this peace. Brother Gongyang invites me to join your alliance, so I naturally have no reason to disagree. Gongyang Tian immediately figured out the meaning of Chen Ronghuo's words, and guessed that if the Lord of Darkness hadn't broken the seal this time, Chen Ronghuo might have continued to keep a low profile. In fact, in the world of gods, there are many hidden powerful men like this. But someone as powerful as Chen Ronghuo is truly unique. Gongyang Tian sighed in his heart. Before this, the world of the gods had undergone many great changes. Especially when some important treasures like the Resurrection Stone came out, they attracted countless powerful practitioners to compete for them. If it were him, facing the birth of such a valuable treasure, he would still be able to remain unmoved and continue to live in seclusion. So he really admired Chen Ronghuo's state of mind. When Chen Ronghuo saw Gongyang Tian's expression, he could vaguely guess what he was thinking, but he didn't try to explain it away. It was the best thing for him to have such a misunderstanding. After all, he can't say that I am a newbie from another world. I only want to strengthen myself, protect my family, and protect my motherland. It took me more than 200 years of hard work to achieve what I have today, but my mother the Lord of Darkness won't give me this face. Brother Gongyang, it's really nice of you to invite me at this time, isn't it? At this time, Gongyang Tian received Chen Ronghuo's reply and immediately laughed. In this case, if Brother Chen is free, how about you go with me to meet some friends? The Lord of Darkness has broken through the seal, and I'm afraid it won't be long before there will be a big move. And my friends are also very curious about Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo pondered for a moment and then agreed, as Brother Gongyang wishes, I also have this intention. His current strength is at the top level in the world of gods, so it is time to meet many powerful people in the world of gods. Moreover, Wang Dynasty, Xuanhuan and others are still in seclusion. If the Lord of the Temple of Killing does not capture him this time, and the Lord of the Black Demon takes action himself, he will have to rely on the power of Gong Yangtian and others. Otherwise, relying solely on himself, if he can face the legendary person, he really has no confidence at all at the moment. While talking, the two of them had already walked out of the pavilion. The strong men in this world seem to like to get straight to the point and don't like to be polite. Chen Ronghuo has been in this world for a long time and has acquired this habit. So after chatting with each other for a few words, Chen Ronghuo made some arrangements, and then he and Gong Yangtian took off into the sky and flew towards the central continent. The central continent of the world of gods is the core of the world of gods. It's just that Chen Ronghuo has been in this world for so long, even though he has reached the 12th level of cultivation today, he has never been to the central continent. At the same time, from the chat with Gong Yangtian not long ago, Chen Ronghuo also learned that except for those forces affiliated with the Black Demon in the Demon Sealing Land, other forces have left the Demon Sealing power under the leadership of the Holy Lord Taishu. Moved to the central continent. In other words, the Demon Sealed Land is now owned by the Lord of Dark Demons. Boom! Suddenly, just when Chen Ronghuo and Gong Yangtian arrived at the central continent from the North Sea, a huge roar suddenly sounded between the heaven and the earth. When this huge roar sounded, the pupils of Chen Ronghuo and Gong Yangtian shrank at the same time, showing signs of shock. Their eyes were fixed, as if they were looking at a certain place through endless space. Damn it! Suddenly, Gong Yangtian couldn't help but curse, "Are those guys crazy? They actually fully opened the Black Demon Stargate in the Demon Sealed Land to help the Lord of the Dark Demon and his men regain their strength." Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 498. In the central continent, Chen Ronghuo and Gong Yangtian arrived at Taishi City with heavy hearts. Taishi City is the largest city in the world of gods. It is rumored that this huge city was founded by a powerful man named Taishi God Lord in ancient times, but Taishi God Lord suddenly disappeared from the world of gods for some unknown reason. Following Gong Yangtian, Chen Ronghuo met the Ten-Horned Dragon, the Lord of the Sky Demon, the Lord of Taishu, and the King of the Five Elements in Taishi City. 4 14-level strongmen who can be compared with the half-step pillar god-level strongmen. At the same time, he also saw more than a dozen 13-level strongmen like Gong Yangtian. These people are the strongest people in the world of gods today, excluding the gods and the Lord of the Black Demon. Of course, Chen Ronghuo himself can also be included in it. At this time, more than a dozen of them gathered together, and their expressions were not very good. Including Chen Ronghuo. Because of his strength, Chen Ronghuo was welcomed by everyone when he arrived here, but the actions of the gods not long ago made everyone laugh. "Shijiao, do you have any ideas?" the Holy Lord of Taishu asked the Ten-Horned Dragon. The Ten-Horned Dragon is not only powerful, but also the most knowledgeable among the crowd. "No way," the Ten-Horned Dragon, who is more than 2 meters tall and has 10 golden sharp horns on his head, shook his head. "Those bastards set up the 10,000 gods formation, not only to pour the original power of the Black Demon Star into the sealed demon land to help the Lord of the Black Demon and others recover their strength, but also set up a barrier. If we break into the barrier, our strength will be greatly reduced. Then we can only let the Lord of the Black Demon do it. So we can only wait like this." Everyone frowned. Even if we don't mention the Lord of the Black Demon, just the Mother Snake, the Lord of the Slaughter God Temple and others have recovered to their original half-step pillar god level strength, they will have to bear it next. After all, among them, only the Ten-Horned Dragon Taishu Saint Lord and a few other 14th level strongmen can contend against the half-step pillar god. What do those bastards want to do? Chen Ronghuo also pretended to be familiar with those gods, and asked while scolding the bastards. "What else can they do? They must want to seize the original power of the Black Demon Star and make it their own, so as to solve the crisis brought to them by the aging of the God's world. But after all, they are different from the Lord of the Black Demon and others. They are not native to the Black Demon Star. It is difficult to seize the original power of the Black Demon Star. So we don't know their specific plans for the time being. A dark-skinned man next to Chen Ronghuo snorted coldly. His name is He Lin. His body is a 13th level ancient black scale beast, and his specialty is defense. Even a half-step pillar god level strongman would find it difficult to break his defense in a short time. Hearing He Lin's answer, Chen Ronghuo immediately showed a thoughtful look. With his cultivation reaching the 12th level, he can now use ancient books to deduce more things. Through deduction, he also knew that the world of gods was gradually aging. At the same time, because those gods were connected to the origin of the world of gods, once the world of gods was completely aging, they would also fall. So it was understandable that the gods were frantically looking for other ways out at this time. They were also a group of poor creatures. Chen Ronghuo shook his head secretly. Of course, he would not really pity those gods in his heart. If he said pity, he came to this world alone and enjoyed loneliness. Who could be more pitiful than him? I think those bastards should have other plans to help the Lord of Black Demon to restore their strength. A strong man with 9 vertical lines on his forehead frowned. He was the ancient 9-headed Lion King, and also a 13-level strong man. In fact, except for Chen Ronghuo, all the other strong men in the field were special creatures in the ancient times, and there was no human being. Needless to say, the 10-horned dragon and the Lord of the Heavenly Demon, the Lord of the Beginning is a ball of the beginning chi, and the King of the 5 elements is a 5-element king. The body of the ram is a pair of wings on the ribs, and the 2 horns have been refined into the oldest sheep-like demon treasures. There are other strong men, and they all have roughly similar origins. After Chen Ronghuo came to the Taishi Divine City, their attributes were identified. So Chen Ronghuo at this time is just like a husky mixed in with a group of wolves. However, his strength is there, plus he has the ancient book, and he is good at hiding. On the surface, no one can see any flaws. Of course, even if there are any flaws, it is estimated that no one will say anything. After all, they all have a common goal at this time. They must have other plans, but we can't guess their plans, and we can't enter the demon sealing land, so we can only wait. But those bastards set up the 10,000 gods formation, and they can't hold on for too long, and we are not without a chance. The 10-horned dragon had a heavy look between his eyebrows. Compared with the gods, the Lord of the Dark Devil, and their alliance, the 3 major forces are obviously the weakest. Coupled with the crazy actions of the gods this time, the 10-horned dragon already had a bad premonition in his heart. Don't even think about it. If it really doesn't work in the end, with our strength, can't we even leave this world? Suddenly, the Lord of the Heavenly Demon laughed strangely. At the level of Chen Ronghuo and others, they can even leave the world of the gods and venture out into the world outside. Of course, there is endless chaos outside the world, and there are countless dangers in it. Even for the 14th level practitioners such as the 10-horned dragon and the Lord of the Heavenly Demon, it is not safe. Therefore, no one will choose to go outside the world unless it is absolutely necessary. The Lord of the Heavenly Demon stood up from his seat after saying this. Okay, let's talk about the future later. I have something else to do and I have to go back to the Heavenly Demon clan first. After saying this, the Lord of the Heavenly Demon did not look at anyone, and his figure flashed, and he left the hall directly. As one of the 4 14th level strongmen in the field, he has this qualification. Brother Chen, don't be surprised, the Lord of the Heavenly Demon has always been like this. Gong Yangtian sent a voice message to Chen Ronghuo, but this gathering is probably going to be dispersed. I wonder if Brother Chen will stay in Taishi Divine City or return to Bihai. I'd better go back to Bihai first. Chen Ronghuo shook his head and replied. In fact, at this time, he naturally practiced as soon as possible, and strived to further improve his strength when the crisis came. However, at his current level, it was difficult to improve his cultivation even a little bit. So if he wanted to improve his cultivation as soon as possible, he could only find a way to obtain a large amount of the breath of the Law of Calamity. However, the Lord of the Slaughter God Temple and Jia Duomu and others returned to the Demon Sealing Land as soon as the gods poured the original power of the Black Demon Star into the Demon Sealing Land. So even if Chen Ronghuo wanted to find someone to do it, he couldn't find anyone. As for the strong men such as Gong Yangtian and He Lin, he unexpectedly felt that they were easy to get along with after this contact. He couldn't do it to them, right? Of course, even if he was cruel and planned to do it to them, with his current strength and the life-saving methods that Gong Yangtian and other powerful beings had mastered for countless years, he might not be able to succeed. Therefore, Chen Ronghuo was also very distressed at this time. Finally, after the Lord of the Heavenly Demon left, Chen Ronghuo also said goodbye to the others and returned to the North Sea. After returning to the North Sea, he directly returned to the river crab world and began to use 20 times time acceleration to exercise his various abilities. At the same time, he also asked King Aurora and others to search for all kinds of natural treasures in the North Sea for him. Of course, the main materials for refining talismans were the materials, and he planned to refine more talismans. And time passed like this, and it came to a year later in a flash. Today is only one chapter. The 300 years are almost over. I have to organize it well and start a new chapter. In addition, you may have noticed that the protagonist improves too fast in the later period, but my single-line writing method of using the improvement of cultivation to increase the sense of expectation will be very depressing unless I arrange enemies one by one and keep pretending to be awesome, so I also plan to end the 300 years quickly and change the writing style. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 499. River Crab World. The Origin Mother Tree was erected in front of Chen Ronghuo's lord's mansion, covering a circle of light curtains. In the light curtains, Wang Qiao, Huang Lin, Ho San, Meng Tian, and others, as well as Big River Crab, Fat Cat, and others, all used the law tides released by the Origin Mother Tree to quietly comprehend their own avenues. However, 2 or 3 months after Huang Tai's Hung came out, people began to come out of the Origin Mother Tree again. The first to come out was Mu Dao Ren, followed by Chang Sun Ping, Chang Sunan and Chang Sun Sheng. Not long after the 4 came out, the Black Whale Ancestor and the former Black Dragon Grand Duke also came out. After several people came out of retreat, their cultivation reached the 11th level. Originally, Chen Ronghuo planned to let his former master Lin Qingtian and his master Wu Tianchuo in the Holy Tiger sect use the Origin Mother Tree. But both of them declined. There are pros and cons to using the Origin Mother Tree, so Chen Ronghuo did not persuade them much, and arranged the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor in it. After the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Patriarch walked out of the coverage of the Origin Mother Tree, 2 or 3 months later, the 5 great ancestors of the 5 Sects Alliance, Chen Ronghuo's 2 disciples, Huang Xiaoshan and Yu Depeng, also walked out one after another. All of them have reached the 12th level of cultivation. The 12th level is equivalent to the current Chen Ronghuo in terms of level. Among them, the 5 great ancestors of the 5 Sects Alliance were originally inferior to the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Patriarch in terms of cultivation. But now, they have all surpassed the 2. After these people came out, Chen Ronghuo finally had some combat power in his hands. He even estimated that it would not take long for a cultivator with a cultivation level of 13th level to come out from the coverage of the Origin Mother Tree. 13th level cultivators are comparable to the top ancient strongmen such as Gong Yangtian, the Black Scale Beast, and the 9-headed Lion King, whom he had known for a while. Chen Ronghuo was looking forward to it. Now that the 300 years are getting closer and closer, Chen Ronghuo is getting more and more anxious and wants to gain stronger strength. Boom! Suddenly, one day, Chen Ronghuo was drawing talismans in the secret room, and suddenly heard a loud noise, and immediately raised his head. Is this the direction of the evil god mountain? Chen Ronghuo raised his eyebrows. The evil god mountain is a mountain known to all the top practitioners in the world of gods, but the reason why this mountain is famous is that the gods have arranged a peerless formation in this mountain to suppress hundreds of ancient evil creatures. The ancient evil creatures suppressed on the evil god mountain, the weakest of which have a 10th level cultivation, are all comparable to gods in strength. At the same time, these ancient evil creatures are not only powerful, but each of them has also refined the resurrection stone, which can be reborn after death. It is for this reason that the gods chose to suppress and seal them instead of killing them. It has been unknown how many years since these ancient evil creatures were suppressed in the evil god mountain, so for those low-level practitioners, the evil god mountain has long become a legend. Is this the seal of the evil god mountain broken? Chen Ronghuo put down the pen that was engraving the talisman in his hand, and his eyes were shining. Because the gods poured the original power of the Black Demon Star into the demon-sealed land, all the subordinates of the Lord of the Black Demon went to the demon-sealed land, and Chen Ronghuo couldn't find even an enemy in this year. This time, the ancient evil creatures on the evil god mountain broke the seal and immediately made him feel a little moved, and a thought came to his mind. Thinking of this, he sorted it out a little and walked out of the secret room. At the same time, he began to use ancient books to deduce the reason why the ancient evil creatures on the evil god mountain broke the seal this time. Those ancient evil creatures have been sealed for so many years, and it is too coincidental that they broke the seal at this time. Sure enough. After a moment, Chen Ronghuo's heart moved slightly, and he knew that the ancient evil creatures were broken this time by the gods. The reason why the gods did this was because the ancient evil creatures that had been sealed for countless years all accepted the conditions of the gods and were branded with the mark of NPC. Chen Ronghuo took a breath. Damn it! At the same time, after sensing that the ancient evil creatures in the evil god mountain had broken the seal, the powerful people such as the 10-horned dragon in the world of the gods frowned. There were too many ancient evil creatures that were sealed at the beginning. And the strength of several ancient evil creatures was not even weaker than the 10-horned dragon, the primordial saint, the lord of the heavenly demon, and the king of the 5 elements. This time these guys broke the seal, and the chaos in the world of the gods will undoubtedly deepen further. Hee, I'm finally out again. In the central continent, as a huge black barren mountain with no grass exploded, a series of terrifying figures, emitting different auras, rushed into the sky, looking extremely excited. Some terrifying figures began to laugh wildly, and their voices almost spread throughout the world of gods. Interesting, I didn't expect that during the years we were sealed, such a person would come to the world of gods. Suddenly, an ancient evil creature turned its gaze in one direction, as if it saw the scene of the sealed demon land and the lord of the black demon through the void. No matter how strong he is, he will definitely become a pawn of those gods like us in the end. A figure with bat wings shook his head and said, according to those guys, time should not be much. Everyone, we will have a chance to see each other in the future. I have to go first and make up for the original power that has been lost over the years. Haha, I have the same idea. A tall corpse demon with a green and white body smiled and asked, but I plan to hunt some blood food nearby. Where are you going, blood demon? I'm going to the border of the North Sea. There is a sealed treasure there. The figure with bat wings flashed and flew straight to the direction of the North Sea. His speed was so fast that it was incredible, as if he was crossing space. In a few flashes, he came from the evil god mountain to the edge of the North Sea. At the same time, other ancient evil creatures on the evil god mountain also found places and began to hunt lives on the god's continent to replenish their lost original power. Almost every sealed ancient evil creature knows the secret method of absorbing vitality and replenishing original power. Even these ancient evil creatures can strengthen themselves by absorbing vitality. The reason why they were sealed by the gods was because they had no scruples and hunted innocent lives wantonly, making it difficult for the gods to obtain the power of faith. That's why the gods set up a peerless formation and sealed them on the evil god mountain. I don't know what those gods are doing when they released us. They already said that they would not care about us hunting lives to replenish the source of power. The rest are those old friends, but those guys should be too busy to take care of themselves, and most of them will not come to stop us. After arriving at the border of the North Sea, the bloodline pondered for a moment, and then it had an idea, releasing 2 blood shadows from the body, and letting the 2 blood shadows rush straight to the direction of the North Sea. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 500. Call. A bloody shadow with bat wings flew from high in the sky and arrived at an inhabited island at the edge of the North Sea. This is an island belonging to a small territory. The people on the island are all practicing as usual, practicing and working. But as this bloody shadow flew over the island, after a pause, it opened its mouth and sent out a suction force downwards. Suddenly, all the lives on the island felt that the blood and vitality in their bodies were out of control, flowing outward. In an instant, the entire island was filled with a layer of blood. Then the blood light turned from thick to thin, faintly entangled into a bunch, and was all swallowed into the mouth of the blood shadow with bat wings. After swallowing these blood foods, Xueying showed an expression of enjoyment on his face, as if he was enjoying the unparalleled delicious food. Too little. But after all the blood light disappeared, the blood shadow shook its head, flashed, and continued to fly deep into the North Sea, starting to look for more islands with life. After the blood shadow left, looking down from high in the air, one could see that every human on the island below who had been sucked out of their blood by it, as well as other lives, had all turned into colorless, pale mummies. However, there are not 1 but 2 blood shadows that are gradually raging deeper at the North Sea border. These 2 blood shadows are the 2 blood shadow clones created by the differentiation of the ancient evil blood demon that broke out of the evil god mountain not long ago. The blood demon had an extraordinary origin. He was a demon formed from the first drop of blood in the world of gods. His cultivation level was as high as 14 levels. His strength was even comparable to that of the 10-horned divine dragon, reaching the half-step pillar god level. The 2 blood shadow clones he created, each with 13th level strength, comparable to the peak gods. Aurora King Island. Chen Ronghuo came here after the retreat. Your tea tastes really good. Gong Yangtian and Chen Ronghuo sat opposite each other, sipping tea from their cups. He knew the tea leaves used for making tea. He cherished the tea leaves very much and could even enhance his understanding of cultivation within a certain period of time. Of course, this thing no longer works for cultivators at their level. But when he looked at the tea in the cup in his hand, it was obviously the same as the tea he knew, but the taste and effect were much better. He took a sip of tea and felt that even his soul was faintly shaken, which was extremely incredible. Brother Gong Yang, if you like it, I will give you some later. Chen Ronghuo smiled. This tea leaf was naturally enhanced by him using his left-hand power. Then I would be disrespectful. Gong Yangtian smiled and did not refuse. During this year, although Chen Ronghuo did not meet Gong Yangtian again, the two occasionally contacted each other through talismans, and their relationship was pretty good. This time something happened in Evil God Mountain, and the Gongyangtian settlement was on the border between Bihai and the central continent, so I rushed to Chen Ronghuo, wanting to discuss with Chen Ronghuo how the ancient evil objects sealed on Evil God Mountain were broken. And what impact will it have on the current situation? Then Gong Yangtian asked, Brother Chen, I wonder what you think about the evil objects breaking out of the seal this time. View. Chen Ronghuo pondered for a while and said, it's fine if those guys keep their peace. If not, I haven't fought with them before, but now I want to see their strength. Gong Yangtian was startled when he heard this. He shook his head and smiled bitterly, Brother Chen, I'm not kidding you. Although I can't stand the behavior of those evil creatures, their strength is not weak at all. Especially the blood demon, the corpse demon, the ghost ancestor, and the bone god. The strength of these old guys is not even worse than the 10-horned dragon and the holy lord Teishu. So no matter what these evil creatures do, the 10-horned divine dragon and the holy lord Teishu will most likely choose to ignore them. Coupled with the large number of these evil creatures, if they break out this time, I am afraid that the entire world of gods will undergo great changes. Chen Ronghuo smiled, okay, I'm not kidding. But to be honest, the premise is that those evil things don't provoke me. If they provoke me, I really don't mind trying to fight them. Gong Yangtian shook his head silently. He had known Chen Ronghuo for more than a year. This was the first time he knew that Chen Ronghuo was so bellicose. Thinking about it, he sighed and said, these guys breaking the seal now must be the work of those gods. I am not worried about anything else. I am just worried about what agreement they have with those gods, and they will unite with the Lord of the Black Demon, take action against us. Chen Ronghuo was startled. This possibility was not impossible. And when he thought about it, the idea in his heart became even stronger. Boom! Suddenly, just as Chen Ronghuo and Gong Yangtian were discussing the breach of Evil God Mountain this time, a loud noise suddenly came from the distance. Hearing the loud noise, Chen Rong raised his head immediately, and his eyes seemed to see the scene of the incident through the void. North Sea border. At this time, 5 figures with astonishing momentum formed a formation, surrounded a blood shadow in the middle, and launched an attack. Who are you and why are you attacking me? Xueying looked a little angry. He didn't expect that he had just devoured the lives of more than a dozen islands and attracted the siege of 5 12th level cultivators. And these 5 12th level practitioners were actually able to skillfully set up formations. Why should we attack you? The golden-haired Saint Tiger sneered, you are in our territory, slaughtering our people wantonly, why do you say we attack you? After sensing that the evil god mountain was broken, Chen Ronghuo came out of retreat as soon as possible, summoned all his men, and asked them to patrol around the North Sea. Once they found evil things wreaking havoc, they would take them down. So the blood shadow clone created by this blood demon had just devoured the lives of more than a dozen small islands, and was surrounded by the 5 ancestors of the 5 factions alliance. After practicing in front of the origin mother tree for many years, the 5 of them not only broke through to the 12th level, but also had countless combat experience because of frequent exchanges. The 5 people joined forces and were not afraid of the 13th level practitioners at all. Even the 5 people were able to skillfully set up a powerful formation to siege the enemy. Once the formation was completed, they could compete with 2 ordinary 13th level practitioners. Therefore, the 5 of them can now be said to be the biggest trump card under Chen Ronghuo. It's actually the blood demon's blood shadow clone. On Aurora King Island, after sensing the huge transmission, Gong Yangtian raised his head and knew what happened, and was immediately shocked. But then, he raised his eyebrows again, but how come I have never seen these 5 12th level strong men? They are my subordinates. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 501. Blood Shadow Clone, 13th level. The clones that the ancient blood demon created through the blood clone technique have self-awareness. Secret techniques, Blood God technique, Blood Domain, Blood Shadow Escape, Blood God Hand. Note, the ancient blood demon is a 14th level blood attribute demon. Chen Ronghuo's eyes penetrated the void and identified the attributes of the blood shadow clone of the blood demon who was besieged by the 5 ancestors of the 5-sex alliance. Your subordinates? When Gong Yangtian heard Chen Ronghuo say that the 5 12th level cultivators who were besieging the blood shadow clone of the blood demon were actually his subordinates, his expression suddenly froze. It was like he had been injected with speed gel and was frozen. Each of the 5 people who besieged the blood shadow clone of the blood demon had a 12th level of cultivation. The 5 people worked together to set up a formation, and they might be able to stop 2 13th level cultivators. Even if he faced 5 people, he would not dare to fight hard. Before, he only knew that Chen Ronghuo could stop the Lord of the Slaughter God Temple, and he should be a cultivator of the same level as him. But he did not expect that although Chen Ronghuo's strength might be similar to his, he was not alone. He actually controlled such a powerful force in his hands. Chen Ronghuo picked up the teacup and took a sip of tea. Now he no longer needs to hide too much. Especially since he has decided to take his men to hunt the ancient evil creatures that broke the seal from the evil god mountain this time. In this case, he can't hide it even if he wants to. It was not until Chen Ronghuo put down the teacup that Gong Yangtian recovered. Brother Chen, after thinking for a while, Gong Yangtian reminded, the person you are besieging is a blood shadow clone of the blood demon. The blood demon is a strong man at the same level as the 10-horned dragon. He can split into 2 blood shadow clones, and each blood shadow clone is not much weaker than me. And the blood demon is a petty guy. If you provoke him, he will not let it go. He got along well with Chen Ronghuo, but he didn't expect Chen Ronghuo to get angry on impulse. He had dealt with the blood demon and knew that he was a lunatic. If Chen Ronghuo dared to let his men kill the blood demon's blood shadow clone, the blood demon would definitely fight Chen Ronghuo to death. Oh, Chen Ronghuo's eyes lit up, so, if I kill his blood shadow clone, will he come to find me on his own initiative? Chen Ronghuo's current cultivation is only the 12th level. If he can kill a 14th level strong man, he will definitely be able to obtain a large wave of the breath of the Law of Calamity. Moreover, the blood demon also has 2 13th level blood shadow clones with self-awareness. Chen Ronghuo calculated that if he destroyed the blood demon's blood shadow clone, he could also obtain a lot of the breath of the Law of Calamity. Gong Yangtian was stunned. Brother Chen, you are not really determined to provoke the blood demon, right? Chen Ronghuo shook his head. It's not me who provokes him, it's him who provokes me. Bihai is my territory, he is making trouble in my territory, how can I ignore it? Gong Yangtian's heart sank. However, he did not continue to persuade, although he and Chen Ronghuo got along well, but it was just okay. It would be bad if he said more. But in his heart, he did not think highly of Chen Ronghuo. Now that the gods are not out, the Lord of the Black Demon is also in the demon sealing land. A 14th level strongman like the Blood Demon is already one of the top strongmen in the world of gods. Boom boom boom. Huge battle sounds continued to come. The Blood Demon's blood shadow clone, besieged by the 5 great ancestors of the 5-sex alliance, transformed into a blood-colored domain, shuttling back and forth in it, as fast as lightning, but he was trapped in the formation set up by the 5 ancestors, and no matter how he fled, it was useless. Tiger claws were sharp, lightning flashed, sword light was everywhere, golden body was immortal, dark domain eroded, the 5 ancestors showed their best in the battle, and in just a moment, they completely suppressed the blood demon's blood shadow clone and injured him countlessly. You are looking for death. Suddenly, accompanied by a roar, a blood light suddenly rushed from a distance and attacked the 5 ancestors. Judging from the momentum revealed by this blood light, it turned out that it was the same as the blood shadow clone being besieged by the 5 ancestors, and was also a 13th level cultivator. Looking at its blood light, it was obvious that it was the second blood shadow clone differentiated from the blood demon. Here it comes. On the Aurora King Island, Gong Yangtian straightened his body and sat upright. The second blood shadow clone of the blood demon arrived, and it was impossible for the 5 men under Chen Ronghuo to kill the previous blood shadow clone. So he was wondering if Chen Ronghuo would make a move next. But when he glanced at Chen Ronghuo from the corner of his eye, he saw that Chen Ronghuo's expression was not abnormal at all, as if he had not noticed the arrival of the second blood shadow clone of the blood demon at all. In fact, Gong Yangtian thought about the same thing. Just when the second blood shadow clone of the blood demon arrived, Chen Ronghuo suddenly had an idea and sensed that someone else had come out from under the origin mother tree that he had refined. This time, 2 figures came out from under the origin mother tree at the same time. One of the 2 figures was Zhangji, and the other was the devil mermaid under Chen Ronghuo's seed. Because they both left their own life marks in the origin mother tree, Chen Ronghuo only needed to sense it to know that their current cultivation levels had all surpassed him and reached the 13th level. A 13th level cultivator, this is truly equal to Gong Yangtian. After sensing Zhangji and the devil mermaid coming out from under the origin mother tree, a glimmer of light immediately appeared in Chen Ronghuo's eyes. With the 2 of them out of retreat, he was more confident about what to do next. In fact, Chen Ronghuo had long known that it would not be long before the cultivators among his subordinates who could reach the 13th level came out of retreat. However, the fact that Zhangji and the devil mermaid came out of retreat at this time still made Chen Ronghuo feel a little excited. You are the one who is looking for death. At this moment, at the border of the North Sea, when the second blood shadow clone of the blood demon was about to rush to the vicinity of the first blood shadow clone to help it out, suddenly 5 figures flew in from all directions, and surrounded it in the blink of an eye. These 5 figures were the 3 brothers Chang Sunping, Chang Sunan, and Chang Sunsheng, as well as Huang Xiaoshan and Yu Depeng. Among the 5 people, the 3 brothers Chang Sunping were good at joint attack. Although they were 11th level cultivators, ordinary 12th level cultivators were no match for the 3 of them when they joined forces. As for Huang Xiaoshan and Yu Depeng, they were directly 12th level cultivators, and they also cooperated tacitly. The 5 of them joined forces and directly resisted the second blood shadow clone of the blood demon, and gained the upper hand. On the Aurora King Island, Gong Yangtian, who was sitting next to Chen Ronghuo, turned his head unbelievably before he could even breathe out, as if he wanted to ask Chen Ronghuo something. Chen Ronghuo seemed to know what Gong Yangtian was going to ask, and said, "They are also my subordinates." Well, strictly speaking, the 3 11th level practitioners are my subordinates, and the 2 12th level practitioners are my apprentices. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 502. Hearing what Chen Ronghuo said, Gong Yangtian immediately revealed a bitter smile. I really didn't expect that you, Brother Chen, actually hid so deeply, actually had so many powerful subordinates, and even trained 2 disciples who reached the 12th level. 12th level practitioners are comparable to high-level gods in terms of strength. In Gong Yangtian's view, it was incredible that Chen Ronghuo could actually train 2 disciples who reached the 12th level. Especially if Chen Ronghuo himself is counted, so many super 10th level strongmen gathered together, I'm afraid they can already fight a 14th level practitioner or a half-step pillar god. It was not until then that he knew why Chen Ronghuo said before that he wanted to see the strength of the blood demon, but it turned out that Chen Ronghuo was confident. Well. Chen Ronghuo pondered for a moment and explained lightly, my subordinates were in retreat like me before, so I didn't introduce them to you, Brother Gong Yang. Then Chen Ronghuo, you don't have other subordinates in retreat, right? Although he knew he shouldn't, Gong Yangtian couldn't help asking. Well, there are indeed some. Chen Ronghuo did not hide it, but there are not many left in retreat. There are only about 20. It's just that when they come out of retreat, they will be stronger than those who came out first. Chen Ronghuo thought in his heart. Gong Yangtian naturally didn't know what Chen Ronghuo was thinking, but when he heard Chen Ronghuo's answer, a look of shock still appeared on his face. Unexpectedly, his joking words were actually right. He wanted to ask more, but after thinking about it, he didn't ask it after all. But his mind was full of thoughts. Will there be any 13th level practitioners like him among Chen Ronghuo's remaining subordinates who have not yet come out of retreat? Of course, although he had such thoughts in his mind, he knew how difficult it was to recruit a 13th level strongman as a subordinate. After all, it wasn't just anyone, they all belonged to the Lord of the Black Demon. Boom boom boom. At this time, the sound of fighting from afar had become more and more intense. Especially the blood shadow clone of the blood demon trapped in the formation by the 5 ancestors, who screamed even more shrilly, trying to break out of the formation. Under the siege of the 5 ancestors, he had already been covered with scars all over his body. Even if he had the cultivation of the 13th level, he would not be able to hold on at this time. On the coast of the North Sea, the blood demon who broke the seal from the evil god mountain sent his 2 blood shadow clones to hunt blood food in the North Sea to replenish the original power consumed over the years, but he came to a valley formed after billions of years of changes in the mountains and rivers. After arriving here, he sensed that the cave he left behind was in it, and immediately pinched the formula in his hand and began to open his original cave. Boom boom. As the cave opened, he stepped into it and took out a treasure he had left in it. A hint of joy appeared on his face. Just as the joy on his face just emerged, he suddenly felt that the 2 blood shadow clones he had split out not long ago were in danger and sent him a distress signal. Looking for death. The blood demon's face sank, and he used a secret technique to know the situation that the 2 blood shadow clones he sent out were facing through the induction in the dark. He immediately moved his figure, broke through the space, and flew to the place where the incident happened. Above the sea. What are you yelling for? Go to hell. Boom. With the holy tiger's claw breaking through the air, the blood shadow clone of the blood demon, which was besieged by the 5 ancestors of the 5 factions, finally couldn't hold on any longer and was directly grabbed into nothingness by its claw. As soon as the blood shadow clone died, the 5 people immediately moved the battlefield and came to the blood shadow clone that was fighting fiercely with Huang Xiaoshan, Yu Dupang, and the other 5 people, and quickly set up a formation. When they were practicing under the origin mother tree, they didn't know how many times they had practiced with each other, and they were all extremely skilled. Therefore, when they joined forces to fight the enemy, they showed unparalleled tacit understanding. At this time, after sensing that the 2 blood shadow clones he had split off were in danger, the blood demon who was rushing to the scene of the incident noticed that one of his blood shadow clones had died, and his expression suddenly froze. He had lived for who knows how many years, and except for the light pillar god who sealed him at the beginning, he had never suffered such a big loss at the hands of others. He refined a blood shadow clone with a strength of 13th level as an auxiliary, and he didn't know how much effort it took, and now, he actually lost a blood shadow clone as soon as he broke the seal. Kill. Really killed. On the Aurora King Island, when Gong Yangtian saw that Chen Ronghuo's men had no mercy and directly killed a blood shadow clone of the blood demon, his heart suddenly jumped and he showed an extremely solemn expression. This time, Chen Ronghuo and the blood demon were really going to fight to the death. But what Gong Yangtian didn't know was that after Shengu and the other 5 killed a blood shadow clone, Chen Ronghuo put all his thoughts on the breath of the law of calamity that was fed back from heaven and earth. As he expected, killing a 13th level cultivator can indeed bring him unimaginable breath of the law of calamity. But with his current realm, if he wants to advance, the breath of the law of calamity he needs is even more unimaginable. Woo! Suddenly, at this moment, a piercing strange howl suddenly came from the direction of the central continent and spread throughout the entire North Sea. And in this strange howl, there was endless anger and murderous intent. It's the blood demon is coming. Hearing this strange howl, Gong Yangtian's heart immediately tightened, knowing that the blood demon was really angered by Chen Ronghuo. Roar! At the same time, the second Blood Demon's Blood Shadow clone, surrounded by Wuziu and Yudupang and 10 others, roared in response to the Blood Demon after hearing the Blood Demon's howl. Although the 2 Blood Shadow clones of the Blood Demon were controlled by the Blood Demon, each of them had its own independent consciousness. Once they died, their consciousness died. It was just that his roar had just been heard, and Yudupang and others had already seized the opportunity, and they all took action, exerted their means, and with a bang, they showed their unique skills and hit him into nothingness with one blow. 3 11th level practitioners who are good at coordination, plus 7 12th level practitioners who are also good at coordination, are really not something that a 13th level practitioner can contend with. Especially Chang Sunping and his 3 companions, and the 5 ancestors of the 5-sex alliance, are all good at trapping the enemy. In an instant, with the death of the second Blood Shadow clone of the Blood Demon, a layer of blood light filled the sky over the entire North Sea, and suddenly a bloody rain began to pour down. The blood rain fell, as if telling the anger of the Blood Demon. At this time, Chen Ronghuo, who was dressed in a black and red robe, slowly stood up from his seat, revealing a slender figure. "Brother Gongyang, drink your tea first, I'll go meet the Blood Demon and be back soon." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chao Ji Dupang. Chapter 503. Chapter 500 Black, Sister Yu. Ambition. Gong Yangtian's heart moved when Chen Ronghuo stood up from his seat. He seemed to feel the burning ambition from Chen Ronghuo. When he first met Chen Ronghuo, he thought Chen Ronghuo was an ancient strongman like him. He was shocked and felt that Chen Ronghuo could resist the temptation. He did not take action even when the resurrection stone was born, but had been hiding from the world until now. He was really strong. But today, when he saw Chen Ronghuo's attitude towards the Blood Demon, he shook his head secretly and knew that he had misjudged him. He didn't know why Chen Ronghuo had been hiding from the world for so long, but he already knew that Chen Ronghuo was definitely not the kind of person he had imagined before, who didn't take everything to heart. Otherwise, if Chen Ronghuo had no ambition, how could he have so many powerful subordinates? And he could vaguely feel that Chen Ronghuo wanted to fight the Blood Demon, and he definitely had his own purpose. But he couldn't guess what the purpose was. At this moment, he looked at Chen Ronghuo and suddenly felt a little unfathomable. He had never thought that there was such a person and such a huge force hidden in the world of gods. Although he was shocked, he was not afraid of Chen Ronghuo. This was not only because there was no conflict between him and Chen Ronghuo. It was also because he, Gong Yangtian, was recognized as the fastest cultivator below the pillar god in the world of gods. In addition, he used his 2 horns to refine a secret treasure that could increase his speed and break most of the space restrictions. Even if he faced a pillar god level strongman, he was sure to escape. Whoosh! Chen Ronghuo didn't know what Gong Yangtian was thinking. He flew into the air and flew straight to the border of the North Sea. The Blood Demon was a 14th level strongman. Even if his men first eliminated the 2 Blood Shadow clones, he was still a 14th level strongman. A 14th level strongman was as powerful as a half-step pillar god. The Lord of the God-slaying temple who had fought with Chen Ronghuo before was also a half-step pillar god level warrior, but his cultivation was far from recovered. Although the current Blood Demon had been sealed for countless years, his original power had been greatly reduced, and his subordinates had just killed 2 Blood Shadow clones, but his strength was definitely not comparable to that of the Lord of the God-slaying temple. 14th level. Chen Ronghuo's eyes showed a burning color. The 2 Blood Shadow clones of the Blood Demon that his subordinates had just killed had brought him a lot of the breath of the Law of Calamity. However, with these breaths of the Law of Calamity, it was far from enough for him to break through from the 12th level to the 13th level. River Crab World. Zhangji, who had just come out of retreat, immediately found his Black Silk army. After becoming powerful, Zhang Ji had reduced the number of his Black Silk army again and again. After many reductions, the number of his Black Silk army was only 300 people. However, with the supply of a large amount of resources from Chen Ronghuo, after years of practice, all 300 of his men have reached the 6th level. 6th level practitioners, even 300 of them, can still be destroyed with a slap for Zhang Ji, who has reached the 13th level. But because of his special talent, these 300 6th level practitioners still have a huge effect on him. Buzz buzz buzz. Zhang Ji pinched his fingers and used the secret method he had comprehended for so many years to summon black silk threads from his body, and then wrapped these threads around the 300 women under his command. In the vibration, after a while, all the 300 women under his command were wrapped by these black silk threads, and became black figures without a trace of breath. Before, when his women summoned the power of ancient black silk, only black silk would appear on their legs. But now, these women seem to be composed of countless black threads. Collect. Suddenly, as Zhang Ji moved his mind, his 300 men immediately turned into shiny black illusory lines, which swooshed into his body. As these black silk threads sank into his body, his entire body turned into a dark mass. In a trance, it seemed as if it was woven from silk threads. Sister Yu, sorry for the wait, let's go. After doing this, Zhang Ji turned his head and cast his eyes on a girl wearing a noble black dress not far away. The girl exuded a gloomy nobleness from head to toe. But her face shape was not very good looking, and it vaguely looked like a fish's face. And the fact was indeed so. Because this girl was the transformation of Chen Ronghuo's spiritual pet, the devil mermaid. After coming out of retreat, her cultivation level also reached the 13th level. The devil mermaid nodded, moved, and left the river crab world with Zhang Ji, flying to the border of the North Sea. At the same time, because Chen Ronghuo's men successively killed the 2 blood shadow clones of the blood demon, countless eyes in the world of gods have fallen on the North Sea. The blood demon is famous among the ancient evil creatures and is one of the only 14th level bosses. Therefore, no one expected that this time, the blood demon had just broken the seal from the evil god mountain and had 2 blood shadow clones killed one after another. Some ancient evil creatures that had just broken the seal talked about it. Where did these people come from? Why have I never seen them before? Indeed, could it be that they are the people who have cultivated to this level during the years we were sealed? This should be impossible. According to the information I just received, after we were sealed, most of the subsequent practitioners followed the path of the gods. Our path is too difficult to walk, and few people walk this path at all. All the ancient evil creatures were puzzled. Could it be that these people are all strong people of the same era as us, but they have been hiding from the world before we were sealed? On the evil god mountain, several ancient evil creatures who did not leave here immediately after breaking the seal looked far away at the North Sea, with astonishment in their eyes. Hey listen. An ancient evil creature with a chicken head said to an ancient evil creature with a dog head next to him. Okay, I'll listen. The ancient evil creature with the dog head vibrated his ears, expanding his hearing to the limit, as if he was eavesdropping on messages from the entire world of gods. After a moment, the dog-headed man's body shook, and he spoke quickly. Chen Ronghuo. I heard that the North Sea is the territory of an ancient strongman named Chen Ronghuo. It is said that Chen Ronghuo had fought with the Lord of the Killing God Temple under the Lord of the Black Demon a year ago. Although the Lord of the Killing God Temple's cultivation has not recovered, he also has the strength of a 13th level cultivator. Also, among those who killed the blood shadow clone of the blood demon, 2 of them called Chen Ronghuo Master, and the rest called Chen Ronghuo Lord. Chen Ronghuo. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 504. The people who killed the blood demon's clones were all subordinates of an ancient powerful man named Chen Ronghuo. In the world of gods, there is actually such a person? Hearing the words of the dog-headed man, the other ancient evil creatures were also shocked. The chicken-headed ancient evil creature shook his head and said, he dared to provoke the blood demon, and was able to kill 2 blood shadow clones of the blood demon with his subordinates. It seems that we can't go to the North Sea. But this Chen Ronghuo provoked the blood demon. With the blood demon's character, he will definitely not give up. There will probably be a big battle next, but I don't know who will win or lose. The dog-headed ancient evil creature thought for a while. Chen Ronghuo is indeed powerful, but he only blocked the Lord of the Killing God Temple who had not fully recovered his cultivation before, so I guess this time, even with his subordinates, he can stop the blood demon. It's good. That's right. The others also nodded. Obviously, compared to Chen Ronghuo, they have more confidence in the blood demon who has been famous for a long time. Even more than them, most of the strong men who were watching this battle from afar had this thought in their hearts. Chen Ronghuo, you are so bold to provoke the blood demon. When the blood demon arrives, I'm afraid that his men will be killed to pieces. Some ancient evil creatures that broke the seal from the evil god mountain were naturally close to the blood demon. When they saw that Chen Rong's men actually killed the blood demon's blood shadow clone, they were shocked and faintly resentful. They thought that when the blood demon arrived, they must teach Chen Ronghuo a lesson. And there are not a few ancient evil creatures who have this idea. They just broke the seal and came out. It was the time to replenish the original power. Chen Ronghuo was stopping the blood demon now. Would he stop them in the future? And with Chen Ronghuo taking the lead, they were worried that other strong men in the world of gods would also stop him. With their interests at stake, many ancient evil creatures were waiting for the blood demon to arrive in the North Sea and waiting for the upcoming war. They all knew that with the character of the blood demon, he would never give up after the 2 blood shadow clones were killed. Of course, where there are people, there are rivers and lakes. There are also some ancient evil creatures that don't get along well with the blood demon, and they have a faint expectation that Chen Ronghuo's strength can be stronger, and he can stop the blood demon and make the blood demon suffer a loss. Whoosh! At the edge of the North Sea, after the blood demon sensed that his 2 blood shadow clones had fallen one after another, his face had already turned red. He turned into a blood light and quickly swept across the sky. Under the expansion of the blood domain, it actually covered half of the North Sea. Even the part that was not covered by his blood domain was also affected and blood rained. The North Sea in the world of the gods is not the North Sea on the Earth star. The North Sea here, not to mention the super large islands, is just a normal island, which is much larger than several states on the Earth star. From the fact that the blood demon can expand his blood domain to half of the North Sea, we can know how powerful he is. Moreover, this is the current world rule. Under the manipulation of the gods, it has changed a lot, and the world's tolerance has also increased a lot. If it were the universe where the Earth star is, Chen Ronghuo guessed that the blood demon could destroy a galaxy or even a star field with a casual palm strike. This is the terrifying power of a strong man comparable to the half-step pillar god level. The border of the North Sea. The 5 ancestors of the 5-sex alliance, who had just killed the 2 blood shadow clones of the blood demon, together with Huang Xiaoshan, Yu Dupang, and the 3 brothers Chang Sunping, gathered together and looked at the surging blood cloud that was rapidly sweeping in the distance, all showing a solemn look. They can kill several peak gods together, but they still have to be careful when facing a 14th level strong man with strength comparable to a half-step pillar god. Whoosh! Before the blood cloud rolled over, a strong wind blew over the North Sea, and the strong wind seemed to be mixed with an unpleasant bloody smell. When ordinary practitioners smell this bloody smell, they will feel dizzy. Humph! Just a cold snort sounded, like thunder from the ground, and at the same time, bursts of 9-colored light suddenly appeared above the North Sea. The 9-colored light spread out, and in the blink of an eye, the bloody smell of the blood field created by the blood demon was dispelled. Practitioners above the 10th level generally practice secret arts of the field. During this year, Chen Ronghuo also used time acceleration, and with the assistance of a large amount of faith power, he developed his own field art. This is a field that condenses all the 9 laws he practiced and converges. He called this field he created the unified field. In the unified field, Chen Ronghuo not only performed various secret arts, but also strengthened his strength. At the same time, he could use the unified field to transform all external forces that rushed into the field into his own power. After Chen Ronghuo dispelled the bloody smell created by the blood demon, the endless blood cloud in the distance immediately condensed into a huge figure with bat wings. The figure looked at Chen Ronghuo and his men from afar, his eyes were cold and murderous. This figure was the blood demon's real body. At this time, he was still a long way away from Chen Ronghuo. But the two were already able to fight in the air. The blood demon glanced at Chen Ronghuo, and after feeling the distance between him and Chen Ronghuo, he grinned, his eyes showed bloodthirsty murderous intent, and then his figure moved in the endless blood cloud, and with a whoosh, he broke through the space and appeared in front of Yu Dupang and others. Die! The blood demon spoke coldly. At the same time, he slapped out his palm, forming a huge bloody handprint that enveloped Yu Dupang and the others. Except for the 3 brothers Chang Sunping, all the others in the field were 12th level practitioners. It was impossible for the blood demon to kill so many 12th level masters with just one palm. So his palm actually had another secret, and after it landed, it would transfer all the attacks to Chang Sunping and the other 2. Chen Ronghuo's men killed his 2 blood shadow clones, and he had to see blood first to relieve his hatred. Boom boom boom. Just as the blood demon's handprint fell, the 5 ancestors of the 5 sex alliance, Yu Dupang and Huang Xiaoshan, and Chang Sunping and others all took action. Tiger claws, lightning, blade light, mountains, sword energy all gathered together in an instant, combined in the most appropriate way, and then with a bang, the void was stirred, and the blood demon's palm print collided with each other, breaking all the mysteries in the blood demon's palm. The blood demon is powerful. However, after practicing in front of the origin mother tree for many years, the 3 brothers Chang Sunping, Yu Dupang, and the 5 ancestors of the 5 factions alliance often have to unite to fight against Huang Lin, Wang Chao and other people who are much stronger than them. Under such circumstances, their tacit cooperation is naturally far beyond the blood demon's imagination. With one blow, the blood demon failed. Chen Ronghuo's men dispersed at a very fast speed. The 5 ancestors of the 5 factions alliance quickly set up a strange formation, pushed forward, and directly trapped the blood demon in it without warning. At this time, Chen Ronghuo had also arrived.